Binga, thank you so much for being here today because
Pleasure.
you are the 50th episode
Am I?
that I've ever shot. Now, if you had to look straight into the camera and say, hey, thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks so much. I've really enjoyed this morning. It's been great. Mate, this is awesome. I've really enjoyed this. You know what? I would go as far to say this is the best interview I've ever had in 25 years.
Oh, really?
I mean that, yep.
Talia.
I mean that. And it's great to be the 50th. Thank you so much.
The 50th. There you go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I mean that. Awesome.
So let's just get one question out of the way.
Nervous.
You or Shoaib Akhtar, who's faster?
Well, ask him. He'll say him.
He say him. You gotta say you.
I'll probably say him as well. To me, though, it was about longevity. A lot more, because I hit that 160 barrier, so I ticked that box.
Yeah.
But Shoaib was like scary to face. And he was, I mean, I played a game against Shoaib in Melbourne at the Telstra Dome, you know, with the big roof on top.
Yeah.
And I'm walking out the bat and I'm panicking because he just knocked over Ricky Ponting and he's bowling. I'm looking up and he's bowling 155, 156. I'm going, oh gosh. I'm thinking helmet. I'd wear 2 helmets if I could. Right. And I look up and I heard, Binga, Binga. I'm thinking, who's bloody calling my name? I look back and there's Shoaib Akhtar. He's almost pushing off the side screen. He goes, I'm gonna kill you. I'm going, Shoaib, no, we're friends. No. He runs in and his black hair, he's just flapping in the wind and he's just coming in. And I'm looking down, I look up and he's still 45 metres away, tapping down. I'm looking up, he's still coming. And I'm thinking, he won't bounce me. He won't, he's my friend, he won't bounce me. It's got to be a Yorker. Boom, and it's hit me straight on the bridge of the foot, on the full.
Yeah.
Right in front. I've gone, how's that? I'm out. Yeah, give me out, I'm out. Umpire said, not out. I'm like, umpy, you've cost me. Now he's gonna kill me. I've appealed. It's like, oh no. So then next ball whizzed past my head, I think. But the thing about Shoaib Akhtar is that you want entertainers in this game of cricket.
Yeah.
You ask any person that's watching, any young boy or girl that's watching the TV, they want to see a batsman playing a beautiful hook shot. So you have to be an entertainer, a bit like an actor out there playing cricket. And it was great seeing, Shoaib bowl to Ricky go bang, hit a 6 or past his head. And that's fun, that's cricket. So I'm so proud of what I've achieved. I never thought in my wildest dream that I would have got 300 plus wickets.
Yeah.
But I'm pumped, I'm so happy that I did. Like I knew at the age of 9. My parents asked me when I was 9, and I'm thinking back, because my son now is 12, and when he was 9, I'm thinking, that's so young to know what you wanted to do. And they said, what do you want to do when you grow up? I said, I'm going to play for Australia in cricket, and I want to bowl 160. My parents, Dad never played cricket. Mum was a sprinter. She was a 100-metre sprinter, so we probably got the fast twitch fibres from Mum. Yeah. Although Dad reckons all the talent came from him.
As they always
muck around.
Yeah. But 160, like for a 9-year-old to have that dream of bowling 160, who did you see that time? Who was your...
Jeff Thompson.
So Jeff Thompson.
Dennis Lilly. Think about Lilly with 355 test wickets. Tomo took 200 test wickets. But to me, it wasn't the wickets, it was the speed.
Yeah.
160 Ks. And I thought, I'm going to crack that 160 barrier. I want to break his record.
Didn't you have an off cutter which was really deceptive?
Yeah, I had an off cutter, I had a leg cutter, but I had a ball that I used to bowl that I'd hold deep in the hand. So normally when you're holding a cricket ball, you hold it and there's like a bit of a gap there, like that. But I'd hold it, I'd squeeze it in, right?
Yeah.
So then as the ball comes out, I lift those 2 fingers and the ball comes out a lot slower and it goes seam up, and sometimes the ball swings. Batsman would be like, oh.
You can't read it.
It's the same arm action, same pace, but just lift those 2 fingers and that takes the pace off the ball. Until I found out in the dugout only a few weeks ago with Kumar Sangakkara. And he goes, I've got to admit to something. I said, what? He goes, when you're bowling your slow ball? I said, yeah, it never worked against Sri Lanka. Why? He goes, because the non-striker, if I was at the non-striker's end, you're watching the batsman, he's watching me, and as I push it in, he'd tap his thigh pad, which means there's a slow ball coming.
Oh.
I said, you bugger.
you made your test debut and went back to the suit store that you used to work in.
Yep.
Didn't you?
When I made the under-19s Australian cricket team that toured here to
Yeah.
India, we had to get measured up for the Australian team blazer. And it was done by a company called Flair. It was a horrible winter's day. I still remember it pouring down rain. Had to be there at 8:30 to get measured up for my Australian team blazer. Went in there, met Richard Bowman. Thought, what a lovely fella, really nice. His store looked beautiful, about as big as this. About 3 weeks later, I get a phone call from Richard, and he goes, "Look, we'd like to offer you a job in menswear." I said, "Great. What do I have to do?" So we went through, we literally got these books out like this, we're going through all the fashion, but then it became, how do you deal with a customer? And these are things that I reckon really helped me in my life and actually skilled me better to understand people and interact with people. You'd be a 97, close to 100, but you'd be a long fitting. So your outside leg will be about 111 centimetres. And you'd be really good in a classic 3-button single breasted with a notch lapel, because it's slimming.
That's
You're
amazing.
tall.
I'm gonna go get it measured because I don't know
You're
what
probably
it's
about a size 11 foot, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, that is exactly it. That's spooky, man.
That's what I had to do. So it wasn't just working in a menswear store. You're learning about life.
Yeah.
And he gave me a chance and an opportunity, and I thought that if someone does that to you in life, you should stick with them.
So you started working there while playing
Yeah.
Australia under 19
Yep.
through your test debut.
Yep. And he always said, cricket comes first. So I'd leave work at 2:30 on a Tuesday, 2:30 on a Thursday, go to the nets at the SCG train, drive back home for 2 hours. Next day, drive up for 2 hours in the morning, work the whole day until 2:30, drive the train until 9:30, drive home 2 hours again. And that was every single day for years and years and years. And I came in after we won the World Cup in 2003, and this big bloke walks in. "How's it, brew?" he said to me. So I looked at him. He goes, "Weren't you in Johannesburg 2 nights ago holding up the World Cup?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "What the hell are you doing here?" I said, "I'm back at work, mate, back to the real life." And I'm sizing him up. So to me, he's a batsman. He's like a Sachin. So when he walks in through the door, he's walking over the boundary rope. And I'm sizing up, thinking, how am I going to get this guy out? Or how am I going to get his wicket? How am I going to get that sail? What it was doing subconsciously without even knowing was, yes, I'm learning about fashion. Yes, I'm learning about different things, but it actually made me focus more on cricket because up until 17, I was thinking, I've got to play cricket. I want to play cricket. How do I get better? How do I become faster? How do I become a better batsman? How do I work? And I'm like exhausted. So then I thought, if I put something else in my life, and I'm working, 2:30, bang, cricket time, let's go. I'm ready. And go out there, you bowl, go home, work all next day. Come Thursday, 2:30, oh, cricket time, you beauty. Let's get out of the store. Birds are singing, it's summer, you're bowling in the nets, and I was just like so focused. And that actually helped my cricket so much.
That's so interesting, actually, because otherwise you can get fairly one-dimensional. You can just hold on to stuff too hard, and then
100%.
That's what people talk about, switching off from the game.
And there are a lot of people that can't switch off from the game.
Yeah.
You know, I think of guys like Mike Hussey, who's the exception because he was just like cricket the whole time.
Yeah.
So being in alphabetical order, Hussey, Lee, you know, I'll always be in the next room on tour. And every night at 12:30, 1 o'clock, I'd hear, "Huss, go to bed." He's tapping his bats in. I like to switch off, mate.
So how many nicknames do you have? I know there's Binga, of course.
Do you know how that came about?
No.
So there's a chain of electrical stores in New South Wales called Bing Lee. So it's a Chinese company
Yeah.
and they're huge. I mean, Bing Lee are everywhere. Their slogan or their logo or their mission statement is everything's negotiable. That's what they say, right? So Bing Lee, obviously with the surname Lee, so I became Binger, right?
Yeah.
And my brother went in one day, taking the mickey, and said, "How much for the Bing Lee sign?" And I said, "Oh, that's not for sale." He says, "Well, actually on your mission statement says that everything is negotiable." So he goes, "I'll go speak to the boss." Boss came back and said, "No, it's not for sale, mate." He goes, "I didn't want it anyway." But that's it. So I got Binger. You sometimes get Ugg,
Why is Ugg?
ugly.
No.
There's another name in Punjabi, I think, that Binga means something else if you say it slightly different.
Bhinga. Oh, Bhinga, that's right. Cross-eyed.
That's it. I also got the name Oswald.
Oswald's a funny story. Can I just
Okay,
set it up 1
sure.
second? John F. Kennedy, JFK, this assassination
Yep.
of the American president, and the person who assassinated him was a man called Lee Harvey Oswald. Now the story.
So I'm batting at number 9. Ian Harvey was batting at number 8. And my brother was batting at number 7. So they looked up on the scoreboard. And Steve Waugh said, Lee, Harvey, Oswald. So that's how I became Oswald. So
And does he call him, or do a lot of people call you Oswald? Or it's just Steve
nah,
Waugh?
that was just Steve Waugh, just mucking around. People think about Stephen Waugh thinking the Iceman, nothing. He's probably the funniest guy in the team.
Really?
Yeah, he's hilarious. He's cheeky, loves having a joke, loves India.
So you had two predominant captains, right? Long running,
Yep.
Steve Waugh for
Yep.
a fair bit, and then Ricky Ponting for
Yep.
pretty much most of your career.
Steve Waugh was brilliant because he believed in me as an athlete. He said, mate, you're in the team. I don't care whether you go for 30 off 3 overs. If you pick up a wicket, that changes the whole game. Run in, scare the tripe out of him, try and get us 1 wicket, and we don't care for how many runs you go for. Ricky Ponting was a bit more, we need you to bowl that perfect line, keep bowling quick, but let's work on this plan. And that really helped me too through that middle part of my career. But the thing, what makes a good leader, for me personally, is someone that you believe in, that you want to actually get up in the morning and don't let down. So even though that you're playing for Australia, I didn't want to let Steve Waugh down. I didn't want to let Ricky Ponting down. And they are 2 wonderful guys, 2 great friends, but 2 different styles of captains. I'm enjoying this.
I'm glad you are.
Yeah, it's good. When you get put in front of the cameras, right?
Yeah.
Like I could press play now and I could come out with what we call a standard function answer.
Yeah.
So, for example, I'm running in the bowl and you asked me as a reporter, the umpire should have given it out. It was clearly a nick, cost us the game, India wins.
What did you think about that umpiring decision? If that was out, the game was Australia's.
Look, we have to make sure that we go out there and always try our best. But, the umpires are normal guys and sometimes they make a mistake. And look, we have to make sure that we learn from that. Look, we tried our hardest. I thought there might have been a nick there, but the umpire said not out, so we just have to accept that call.
Talia!
Right? Whereas you want to say, the friggin' umpire cost us the match. Now he should lose his job.
I'm going to find him outside.
Australia should have won, India lost, and the umpire cost us. Now imagine if I said that. I'd be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's
And-
what I say. Doesn't have any questions. It's just,
And I get a nice breakfast too, which
There you
is
go.
lovely.
back in the late 90s, there was not that much nutrition and stuff around, right?
No
You
one
were
really,
just-
no one really knew about what to do.
Yeah, so if you were a fast bowler, you would just like pile on the carbs, right?
Pretty much. Prior to going out to a test match,
Yeah.
I would do carb loading. So I had to eat and eat and eat and eat. I'd have about 5 or 6 meals a day. So to bowl 10 overs in a one-day match, I'd cover 17 Ks, maybe 20 Ks in a test match during the day.
Wow, man. that's
So
insane.
you can't keep the weight on.
Yeah.
You're putting so much more pressure through that ankle.
Which
Five
already
more.
has so much pressure on it.
That's correct.
Naturally. What do they say? It's like twice your body weight landing on your front
Mine
foot?
was 16 times.
Yeah.
My playing weight was around about 87 kilos.
Yeah.
And I would be 16 times my body weight.
Oh, so that's your little line, which
So
is why you had
over a ton, which is why I had 6 ankle operations.
6 ankle operations,
Yeah.
huh?
And the pressure of slamming the foot down as hard as I did, that's where you get your pace, but it comes at a cost.
But the only thing you could do about it was actually decrease your pace.
And
that was a non-negotiable for you.
That did not excite me. When you think about the bottom of I'm not trying to be technical, I'm trying to think what it's called. It's the bottom of your tibia,
Yeah.
I think it is. The shin bone that comes down, that then goes into your ankle. So then what happens is that chips off, which is called an os trigonum, a floating piece of bone. They have to go in, cut that bit of bone out, throw it out, start again. And you keep bang, 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 and the bone grows back. chips off again, go in and cut it again. So then they end up cutting off the bottom of my tibia. And then they had to get 3 or 4 doctors under pressure to try to push my ankle down and create that force when I was bowling.
Lord.
To load it up and go, yeah, we might need to shave a bit more off. And then they'd shave a bit more off, and then they'd load me up again, shave a bit more off the bone. And then the last time I did it, it worked. But other than that, I'm good. Now, how do I come back from that? I've done all my rehab, I'm back playing, but I know that's off my mark, that when I land on that front foot, I know that you can get that knife and you go smack in the back of your ankle, and that's what's going to happen, first ball. And I know, and I actually get tears in my eyes thinking about it because the pain that you go through, and I know that's going to happen. And somehow I'm 30 metres back, running in, trying to let go of the ball as hard and as fast as I possibly can, knowing that that ankle's going to get smashed the first time. But you've got to trick your mind. You can do what you want with your brain, and I've always said that I reckon when you first start, it's 80% ability, 20% of your brain, and then when you get towards the sort of middle part of your career, it becomes sort of flipped around. 80% mental ability and 20% physical ability. The toughest player in world cricket, in my opinion, and you'll be blown away by this.
Tell me.
The toughest, hands down, Simon Kadic.
What?
Mate, Croatian background, you get hit, you could pin him in the nets at 160 Ks. He wouldn't wear an arm guard, wouldn't wear a rib pad. You hit him, he's like, tough. Break his rib, doesn't care. Play on.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, we gotta, because, you're Australian, we gotta talk about sledging. You were never one for it.
Gamesmanship.
You were never one for it, though.
Yeah,
I would see you, were you? So you were pretty quiet then. You did it cleverly.
I worked out how to do it.
How? With a smile. It's like, I'm gonna kill you.
You realise there are 34 cameras
Yeah.
on you, right? So there's at least 2 or 3 cameras on you at the one time. How do I try and work out, okay, all the cameras are on, right, you can't verbally say something. There's the stump mic that can hear you. So you know how I wore the white sweatband?
Yeah.
Well, when I'd go and scratch my nose and give the batsman an absolute gobful as I'm scratching my nose, they can't see my mouth moving. They can hear something, they don't know where it's coming from. And you give the batsman an absolute spray as you scratch your nose. Like that.
Which were the batsmen who then disoriented you a bit?
To me, it was like Viru was hard to bowl to because you're bowling the first ball of a test match. So when you play 2020, you know first ball they're going to try to hit you for 4 or 6.
Yeah.
When you play 50 over, you sort of get into the game. Test match, you might bowl four overs for maidens, 4 maidens in a row. Viru, I'd drag down the first ball, try and bowl a bouncer of the game. He'd go 6. I'm like, Jesus, Viru, relax. The test match. He just wink at me, laugh, mark centre again. So that's pretty cool. It's Lara. You bowl the ball there, he'd go backward point.
Yeah.
You bowl the ball there again, same ball. You bowl the ball there, like that.
Yeah.
So he was a nightmare to bowl to because you couldn't really set a field. He would take the ball that you bowled 6 in the same spot, hit 6 different spots around the field. I hated bowling to Harbhajan Singh.
Yeah.
Hated him on the field. Harbhajan, because I couldn't get him out and he'd be like sledging me back and I'd be sledging him and he'd be hitting 6s and all that. But off the field, he's an absolute gentleman. Even to the extent last year where he found out about my son playing cricket.
Yeah.
Sent him a message and sent him his own cricket gear from India. I mean,
Nice.
pads and thigh pad and gloves and all that. And I thought that's really nice.
Freddie Flintoff sledge you once and say you named your son after the place I was born in or something?
2006, my son had been born. He
about
was
this.
about 6 days old. And my son's called Preston.
Yeah.
So I bowl the ball. I'm looking at him right, and he goes, playing miss. He goes, "Thanks for calling your kid after where I was born." I'm like,
What?
he goes, "I was born in Preston." It's like, oh, well, I didn't know that. Bowl the next ball. He goes, "Mate, how the hell am I going to call my next kid Wollongong?" We're all sport. I thought, and I'm laughing my head off, and people at the Gabba are going, "What are these guys doing?" We're talking, then we both burst out laughing, and I thought that's pretty cool.
Can you still pick out like the top moment for you perhaps on the field?
Oh, that's
one, eh?
that's a tough one, but a good one. One being the baggy green cap. So our baggy green cap is something that we will cherish forever. And I know it's just a green felt cap that is uncomfortable to wear, but you put it on, you feel like a bloody warrior. You feel like you're 6'6", you feel like you can run through a brick wall. Because of the history, because of what Alan Border did with the baggy green, then Steve Waugh, and then Ricky Ponting, Mark Taylor, they all helped that legacy of the baggy green cap.
And who gave you yours? Does the captain always give it?
No, past player.
Yeah, so
and
who was yours?
A gentleman called Ian Metcalf, left arm bowler for Australia, who got called for throwing, and then my action got questioned a few weeks later. Right on cue. My first test wicket against India.
Funny.
My first test wicket against India was something I'll always cherish. Ramesh from India, left-hander.
Sadgopan Ramesh.
Yeah, who I've done some commentary with, and they keep rolling in that clip, the poor bugger, every time we're on together. Yeah. He's a lovely guy. But I reckon one of my most cherished moments was against Pakistan, playing in my first one-day match for Australia, and walking out, and the person I'm walking out behind is Shane Lee, number 20 on his back.
Nice.
He's wearing his Australian colours, I'm wearing my Australian colours, we're singing the national anthem. Stephen Mark Waugh, Shane and Brett Lee in the same team. I thought, how cool is this? Like we've dreamt about in the backyard playing for Australia one day. We were Alan Border, we were Sunil Gavaskar, we were Viv Richards in the backyard playing, Ian Botham, and all of a sudden here we are playing for our country as two brothers. And I thought, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Shane's how many years older than you?
2.5.
So that means you're bowling, he's batting, right? Big brother's bat.
Well, big brothers are cheats.
I'm a big brother, so I know.
Yeah, and my younger brother, who was a better cricketer than me and Shane put together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a gun. But Shane was always the older brother and just said, all right, you bowl. I said, well, I want to bat as well as he. And he would say, well, I'm not playing. And I'd always want to play. So he knew that I had to just bowl the whole time. But Shane got the same number as Mark Taylor, 334, all the same as Bradman. He was out 5 or 6 times, but said, no, I didn't nick it.
No DRS.
I couldn't go upstairs, right? So then I went to bat, got bowled first ball. I said, see ya, he walked inside. So I started crying, Mum came out, Shane got a smack and I got another bat. It's perfect.
And then how many did you get?
2.
You even sang a song with
Usher G. Usher G, yeah.
Yeah.
Back in 2006 it was.
How awkward was the acting in the video for you?
Very awkward, very cheesy, very cringeworthy. There's a lot of ducking, like in Ace Ventura where he's hiding behind the bush. But I got approached by a director through music, and they said, listen, we'd like you to do a song with a lady called Usher Bosley. You wouldn't have heard of her. I said, yeah, I've heard of Usher. I went, what? Long story short, they said, we're doing a collaboration and we'd love you to be involved. So they went through all these Bollywood stars that were doing a duet with her, and they said, and a guy called Robbie Williams. I went, well, from England? They said, yeah. I said, if Robbie's in, I'm in.
Yeah.
And they said, just turn up. We're up in Mohali, playing in the last qualifier one day against India. And we had to go out and win next day in order to then get the opportunity to go down, hit back here in Mumbai, because we had to do a film clip.
Yeah.
If we lost, we would have flown home. So I made sure that we went out and beat India, sorry. And we ended up coming down doing that really cheesy film clip, and that was it.
Do you remember the song?
Hame tumhara hun, tumhare hi rahunga.
I can do Asha Ji's voice. Oh, what are the lyrics? I had them just here.
क्या तुम मेरे हो मेरे ही रहोगे
Hame tumhara hun, tumhare hi rahunga.
Yeah, that's a
Very
collaboration.
good, eh?
There you go.
We've got it.
So there's also what's the pig handler story? That's in Babe, right? You're credited in Babe.
A very famous Australian film called Babe.
Yeah.
So it's about this pig, this talking pig, and I was in the agricultural shed at school, at high school, looking after all the animals. That was my job at lunchtime, and feed the pigs and do whatever. And there were 52 pigs used in Babe because they'd train the little piglet up and it'd grow too big and they couldn't use it at the next scene. They'd have to bring the next pig in. And apparently I must have looked after 1 or 2 of the pigs that have come from the ag shed. And then Babe came out, and then right at the end it said Brett Lee Pig Handler. So I've got a credit.
In a Hollywood blockbuster.
Oh, can you imagine? So funny.
That's amazing.
That was my claim to fame for a while.
And look at how diverse your life has been, right? So you can measure up suits. There's a pig handler. There's
The guy getting smashed on the cricket field.
leave aside cricket, right? There's a musician. There's a Hindi singer. You do some music-related work with underprivileged
Yeah.
kids as well, right?
Yep, it's
So
in
you're
India.
doing that in India?
Yeah, so it's called Music, MEWSIC, and it's a play on words for music.
Yeah.
So sick children, that we can teach them music and music therapy. To me, when I learned how to play music, that was the part of the jigsaw puzzle that had been missing through my whole life. Because I've grown up with music in my family, with mum playing, Dad reckons, once again, Dad reckons he played the flute, Mum reckons he's full of it. I've grown up, touch wood, with no issues, but a lot of children don't. So I want to allow those children to have close to a normal life as what we possibly can. And India's been great to me. It's shown me some amazing places and the love I get from India. So it's my right, I think, to put back into India, because you can't keep coming somewhere for 25 years and keep take. It's selfish. You got to put back in. But I want to put back in and help out.
That's beautiful.
Well, it's there's a saying that giving is the most selfish thing in life because it makes you feel good. And it's true.
Wow. Binga, thanks so much for doing this.
Mate, this is awesome. I've really enjoyed this. You know what? I'd go as far to say this is the best interview I've ever had in 25 years.
Oh, really?
I mean that, yep.
Yeah!
Breakfast with Champions, it rocks, and I'm going to promote the hell out of this on social media.
Yes, please. Thank
what
you
we
very
do.
much.
Well done, mate.
All right, this is the call to action.
Hi, I'm Brett Lee, and you're watching me with, of course, GK the Champion on Breakfast with Champions. Make sure you tune in and subscribe. We've had an amazing morning. We've had a good chat, haven't we?
Yes, we have, and we want you to like and share the video for that very reason.
You must like, and I'm number 50, see? That's why I raised the bat.
Raise the bat,
About time I got a 50.
Raise the bat, raise the bat.
and then do dandiya.
Anya.
Just don't. Ting.
Hear the ting.